Silas back with book review number 13 for the year 2023. And this book is written by Rubin. It's called The Creative Act, A Way of Being. And for those who are aware of Rick's career, the early part of his career was spent with the legendary Def Jam Records. And he went on to produce a lot of classic albums, and he's been known in more recent years for really having deep thought and revelations around life and how he lives and how he suggests that others should live for peace and success. So I saw the book and picked it up, and when I read it, I thought immediately this is a book for creatives, for people that are really, really into the work of doing art, the work of producing art, those that are really entrenched in that effort. So for me, I read every day. I commit to reading 10 pages a day, sometimes 20, but at least 10. And I have to admit, there are times where when I'm reading books, sometimes it's me checking a box for that day, and it's me staying in the habit of reading and not getting away from that. So there are some days where I'm really reading intensely, and there are days where I'm not so into it, but it's just me keeping that repetition of reading. And what I found with this book is that you really have to be into it every day to get the concepts of it. It's written pretty straightforward, but there are some deep concepts that he goes through. And like every other book, I take notes, and periodically I review the notes for those books that I read. And so when I was taking notes, I just kept thinking about the fact that this is really for people that are committed to producing the work and doing the work that has art associated with it. One of the things that I saw in the notes that I took was a quote that says, "It's helpful to view currents in the culture without feeling obligated to follow the direction of the flow." And what that meant for me was it is okay to be aware of what's happening around you, to understand it, to recognize it, to accept it, to understand why other people are living that way. And it's also, I would say, necessary to do that, but at the same time, not being caught up in the direction that other people are going if it's not the direction that you should be going into. And so for a lot of us that are writers or speakers or people that create products, oftentimes we battle with being a part of the remaining part of the world or the outside world, and that battle between being connected to that, but also being connected to the work. There's another quote that I'm looking for now in my notes that says basically, "And what is the purpose of being an artist if we deny our unique personal point of view?" And so many times we reduce ourselves and we try to fit in with other people for the sake of acceptance. And if you're going to be an artist that produces work, people are going to appreciate it only if you're doing it from a view that is unique to you. When people are reviewing your art, observing it, assessing it, or really becoming immersed in it, they want it from your perspective. And it's hard to have a perspective if you're inundated with what's going on in the outside world. So a lot of the book talks about the internal work that you have to do to actually produce work. And that, I think, was really, really important for me to see at the time in which I read the book. Another quote is that the artist's job is of two kinds: the work of doing and the work of being. And so what you're doing and who you are or who you're becoming, those two things end up merging. And so who you are and who you are as a being, while doing the work, those two things should merge. And I think when people say, this is my life's work, In order for you to be great, it has to become that. It has to become a life's work, and it's not just something that you put down at 5 p.m. But overall, I thought the book was really, really good. There are a lot of things that I pulled from it, a lot of passages that I wrote down in my notes, a lot of one-liners and quotes that he puts in there that I think are really, really serving for me as a motivator to remain in the space that I'm in and to put me in a position where it's easier for me to produce the work that I want the world to see. Again, the book is called The Creative Act, A Way of Being by Rick Rubin. I probably could write and recite a lot of quotes, but I don't want to do you guys a disservice by giving away the entire thing. But I thought that it was a book really tailored for creators, people in music, people in writing, people in the arts. And again, it's one of those books you have to give it your full attention. Some books, the passages just jump out at you. Even though this is a really, really deep book, I didn't think it was a book that is going to smack you in the face. You've got to go looking for the nuggets in the book. And so I found the ones that work for me, and I'm grateful that I had a chance to read the book. And so for me, this year has really been about what work am I going to do? What work am I going to produce and show to the world? And so books like this have been a driving force for me remaining motivated. So thank you guys again. Again, the book is called The Creative Act, A Way of Being, written by Rick Rubin. And if you're in that creative space, hopefully for your sake, you get a chance to read it. So until next time, we'll talk soon.